and hopefully it'll maintain that way. So I'm going to have to synchronize on a few stars here and there during the evening. And yeah, the sky's still blue here actually. This is 800 milliseconds, by the way. Actually, no, it's 500 milliseconds. There we go. Here's 500 milliseconds. And we certainly could turn up the gain a bit more. I'm going to try something here quickly. This is 776 milliseconds. And we're going to try the digital binning here. Well, 776 milliseconds, and I've got digital binning too. This is pretty wild. Wow. Beautiful optics in this thing, and we see the central star at 776 milliseconds. Let me put this at default. There you go. It's going to show us a little bit more colors. Oh yeah, Jim, I totally agree. That's what I've been saying here all along. Totally insane. Unheard of in the industry. There's no doubt about it. I did a presentation at the Video Star Party why the cameras that Mallin makes, they achieve such sensitivity and low noise too at the same time. This is pretty wild, unbelievable, to say the least. And all right, frame rate is the lowest. For these Sky stuff, always keep the frame rate low. That way it doesn't suck up all your USB 3 connectivity data for nothing. So this is what we got now. Yeah, 776 milliseconds. This is under a second. And we get to see magnitude 15.4, is it? 0.6, 0.4. Central star, plus we see other stars in there too. What I'm going to do, I'm going to turn up the exposure to about 1.1 second, and the result is obviously overexposed. So we're going to have to lower the gain a little bit and find a balance here. And while we get to see the blue sky, it tells us it's the right color, because the sun's still up here and it's still fairly bright out, but it still gives us a good idea what can be done. There, the gain's at 84 at the moment, and the exposure is 1100 milliseconds, so 1.1 second. Graham, very good question. I'll tell you, when you go binning in that mode, it certainly rivals it. I have to say that it does rival it. The DS10c has been in the works for quite some time using that specific sensor. Now, why those sensors obviously have to be coupled to the proper electronics is quite simple. This sensor, this particular sensor, just like the Exterminator and the Extreme, one of the reasons the Extreme and the Exterminator are so sensitive, and even the CHP, the older versions of 10 years ago or more, those type of sensors are designed for one thing only, and they're not made to give you the best pictures, but they are designed to give you the most sensitive view needed. Why? A lot of people ask. As I explained in the presentation here at the Video Star Party, it's simply because those sensors are not meant to be on the general market. They are for security cameras. The DS10c, that specific sensor, IMX294, Class 1, if you can get it in Class 1, is designed and made specifically for one thing only, is for upcoming high-end security camera with very large format, very large lens. This is the type that you're going to see on top of highways, basically. But the majority of company hasn't joined up yet to build such high-end security camera. But the sensor's available, so Sony was hoping for that. One of the advantages between the Exterminator and the Extreme is this. This specific sensor does not require IR illumination to see in the dark. And this is what Sony did, basically. Back illuminated, back illuminated was the key to go. They've repositioned all of the electronics on the sensor away from the main wafer. I did show that as well through a microscope at the presentation here at the Video Star Party. And this is one reason we don't have that angle. But however, the 294 does have a bias and an M-glow shut-off circuit. Not a circuit, a tap. We got to make a circuit for it that when it does a readout, that the preamp, basically, the preamp shuts down during the download. And when it does that, you illuminate completely all of the M-glow. So what Sony has done with this very specific sensor, it's made for industrial application, especially targeted for the high-end security market. Security camera sensors are the best for sensitivity. And once you've got that foundation lined up, it's all up to us to put the proper circuitry to it to adapt this for astronomical camera. And this is exactly what the DS10c is. So to answer your question, Graham, certainly it does rival it big time. And for CMOS, I'm rather shocked about it. It's not perfect. Mind you, the ICX 828 and a 428 are not perfect either. They're using no sensor used as an interlace. This one is progressive scan. So the drawback of this, you're going to get a little bit of noise in it, if you call it. Grainy. Yes, I call it graininess because that's what it is. All progressive scan sensors, whatever they're CCD or CMOS, they're grainy. And to eliminate that, you basically need to go a bit longer exposure, or you stop 2 or 3 frames average, and your noise is gone, which I'm just about to try. So again, the exposure is 1.1 seconds, so 1100 milliseconds, that's it. And we're going to conversion gains all the way up. And we're going to apply about 3 frames only to lower the noise. So 3, maybe, 3 frames should be all right. Now let's go on average. You're not going to gain anything when you go average. If you stack 3 to 4 frame, it doesn't mean that you've got 3 times 1 second exposure. It doesn't work that way. It only works that way when you go additive. Well, let's try to see if we can stack a couple of frames to lower the noise here. And mind you, we still got blue skies here. The sun's still up. I can see the glow of the sun here at the moment. Okay, so we've got an okay 3. Oh, there you go. 3 frames stack, all the noise is gone. And I mean everything is gone. Look how clean it is. It's unbelievable. Beautiful M57 in there. And this is the first light for the VRC-12. This is 12-inch reach chain that I mounted on the LX850. Someone at the Star Party bought my 8-inch. They didn't They didn't want a new one or anything like that. They specifically wanted mine, so a young kid bought it, and I decided to put the 12-inch in. This is what we're using now. Absolute beautiful image here. Oh, hang on a sec. Let's get that to window. And of course, being binned, wow, this is nice. 75%, here's 100%. And we certainly pick up some wispy detail in there. It is gorgeous. I'm just curious a little bit. I'm going to turn off a bit of sharpen and try to bring out a little bit more detail out of M57. But we certainly see a 1, 2, 3, and 4 stars. 2 of them in the center and 2 on the edge. I'd love in the composition. And we're still at 1.1 second. This is truly remarkable. And we do pick up the galaxy. The what I call the wagon wheel is right at 1 o'clock on top. And we do pick up IC1296 at 1.1 second. This is remarkable. This is remarkable. Okay, let's increase a little bit more of the sharpen here. Okay, nothing's going to happen yet, simply because we're doing the stacking. We're going to have to stop the stacking. Here's the noise. And you can see the refresh happening here at 1.1 seconds. So let's stack only 3 frames and see what kind of result we're going to get out of this. Mind you, I've got image zoom quite a lot. Okay, there we go. Beautiful image. Colors are vivid, everything is perfect. Yes, Graham. Oh, I forgot to put, I did have it on top. Hang on, let me write it down. So let me, hang on, Graham, glad that you remind me of it. Let me fill in the credentials on top. Okay, there we go. Hang on a second. Okay, the information is on top. So we're going to Mallin the DS for Deep Sky. 10C, which is 10 megapixel. It's got the Universe 0.5 Focal Reducer and the VRC-12. Okay, the VRC did not show up. That again. This is a remarkable image. This is the 1.1 second, folks. This is it. Okay, allow me to show you. 1.1, so 1121 milliseconds. I'm still in video mode. I haven't even gone on the trigger source. I'm going to rewrite this on top here. Okay, let's hope this is going to fit on top. There you go. The DS10c 0.5 Focal Reducer VRC-12. So we've got approximately 0.5. I haven't done the exact calculation with this specific telescope, but let's go back on, flip the window, the actual field of view. Then this is the field of view. For 12 inches, pretty darn good. We certainly see quite a lot in there. Oh, I wanted to show you 1296. And for that, there's a wagon wheel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use going to use the color balance because it shows us this, the grid, the square where we need to see this. What I call the wagon wheel. It looks like one. Okay, this group is starred here. All right. If you look at this red square box, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got 6 stars in the shape of a wheel, and the center one is the shaft of the wagon wheel. All right. Right below the central star, you've got a little smudge. Let me make this smaller. And that little smudge is right below there. That's 1296. I see 1296. This is at 1.1 second, folks. This is insane. Unheard of. Testing cameras and building cameras in the shop is one thing, but boy, when you go under dark sky or under the under stars for testing, it's just absolutely incredible to see the result. So that's 1296 right there. I see 1296. Okay, so if we back out, we still see that little wagon wheel on top at 1 o'clock from 57. We see the center star, there's a little tiny fun guy, and that's the galaxy. Yeah, it's faint, but don't forget we're at 1100 milliseconds, so it's insane. There's no question about it. There's no question about it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we might want to either increase the gain or we can increase exposure, and I think I'll attempt to go increase exposure, but we'll go from 1.1. How about if we go 1.5 milliseconds? But we're going to have to wait for the stack, so let's give it a break here on the stacking. And I'm going to increase the sharpness just a tad. I'm going to bring out more noise that way, but instead I'm going to jump from 3 frame to 4 frame because increasing the sharpness will bring a lot of noise. Basically, that graininess that all progressive scan sensors have. So let's just give it a couple of seconds here for the software to stack it. There we go. Status is okay. We'll see that to the lower left of the this. There you go. The noise is gone. Oh boy, look at that. So we went from 1100 milliseconds and we went up to 1500 milliseconds. We basically jumped 4 milliseconds. So we're basically at 1.5 seconds instead of 1.1 second. And look how much brighter everything became. And if you go back and zoom that in, wow, look at that. Now, we get to see clearly. We get to see clearly the galaxy starting to really come to view now, the little fuzzy area. Okay, let me, pretty neat. Right on top where the alignment mark 1100 is, and you can actually detect color in the galaxy. It's starting to anyways. I don't have any dark frame taken at the moment, and wow. Okay, this is pretty cool, folks. Wow. Let me try something else here for a minute. For experiment's sake. Let me stop the stacking thing here. So we've got 4 frames. I want to push the sharpness a little bit. It's going to act like the APC a little bit, but it's not like the same of an APC. APC is only applicable to interlace sensors. A general sharpness feature will definitely show you a lot more detail, but more noise as well, as you can see. So if we stack just on average 5 frame instead of, because we've got the sharpness a little bit more aggressive, more noise going to come out. So let's let's see this stacking here, what's going to happen. Okay, there you go. That's beautiful. We've got 11 stack. All right. So she keeps going, and again, the exposure, we went from 1.1 thousand 1100 milliseconds to 1500 milliseconds. So we went up not quite half a second. So we're 1.5 seconds basically. Now what I want to do is go back and wow, what a difference. Now we're starting to see the galaxy on top here. Definitely there's color in the galaxy, and the resolution of the telescope really speaks for itself. Obviously, the reach is this image nearly rivals my 16-inch. This is unbelievable. Very, very, very nice. I'd like to go a little bit more aggressiveness in the sharpness. So for that, we're going to stop the stacking feature here. Let's break this up a little bit more, go to 300. Let's get the image a little bit dirty and ugly. And I'm going to change the stacking from 5 to 6 because we're going to get a heck of a lot more noise, as you could tell. Excuse me. So let's see here what's going to happen. The bounce tracking, really, really nice. I'm very, very pleased with that. It's quite remarkable. Let's wait a little bit for the stacking sequence to start. I've got up to 6 frames. So here we go. Because we increase the sharpness quite a lot, we are going to have a lot more noise. So let's go to, just want to pull a bit more detail out of M57. And of course, we do see the galaxy IC 1296 at about 1 o'clock from M57 in that wagon wheel star configuration. Go to 150 magnification, so it's nice. If I would have taken a dark frame, we would see a lot more. And I didn't bother, so what the heck. Very, very nice, and it's quite interesting to see the result. We're still dealing here at 1.5 second exposure, and no, there was some mosquitoes earlier, Jack, and they all took off, and I'm very, very pleased about that. Wow, I can't believe this. I'm going to lower the sharpness a bit here. Let me stop the stacking for a moment. All right, and start over again. There you go. I'm running an i5, I believe it is. Yeah, it's an i5 Core i5 Intel. This ThinkPad, it's a laptop. It's about a year old. It's got only 8 gig of memory, and it's nothing to write home about. It's just your basic Lenovo laptop. I'm planning to put a full desktop in here in the second observatory, and I'm going to be doing that in the next couple of weeks. I could link the warm room in dome number 1 with dome number 2, so I won't freeze in the winter. So that'll be quite interesting. We're still at 1.5 millisecond. Basic, it's 1500 millisecond. It's 1.5 second exposure. This is insane. We haven't gone to bidding 3 and 4 yet. If this thing is well adjusted, it certainly can rival the DS287. Mind you, the DS287 is quite something else. But it's a smaller chip. This guy's a big chip, and this is what a lot of you want, is a bigger chip. And what I like about it is because the size of the pixel, we get to pick to zoom in, and you don't lose much resolution, and that's the part that I like. Okay, so we can change that ratio electronically if you wish, and there you have it. This is 150%. This is 100%. And click the window, it gives you the actual frame, which is 46% in this case. Certainly get really, really nice results. I just want to see if we're still broadcasting. Beautiful optics. I'm very, very, very pleased with that. I haven't touched anything here. I haven't touched the histogram or any of this. Here, I'm going to show you. Colors is pretty well balanced, so we're going to leave it the way it is. Got a really nice background. One thing, though, I did want to do, it's called the black level. It's at 0. The default is 3. 0 is the target, so I always go black level at 0, and it gives us a fairly a dark background. Very nice. Okay, my next target is going to, we'll see if the mount will go there. We are going to stop the stacking because it's going to look funny a little bit. And we're going to go to, I'm going to shut down the sharpness as well to reduce the noise for the time being. We're going to go to M27 in the area, and I would just want to see if the scope's going to go there, but so far the tracking dead on, and that's what I like. Okay, I'll be right back, folks. We're going to punch in M27, and it's positioned properly for me to see it towards east, which is fairly low light pollution for me. So just give me a moment. I'll be right back. Okay, this is not bad at all. We're still at 1.5. We're still at 1.5 second of exposure, still in the video mode. Okay, and we're going to change the exposure. This is at 1.5 seconds, so the gain's at 84 out of 160. I'm going to pump that up to about 2.5 second only. Hang on, there you go. There's 2.5 second of exposure, as you can see. So we went up only 1 second to see this kind of data. Now, the red we see in the background is the light pollution in that area. But that's okay. One way to deal with this is simply to lower the saturation a little bit. And background should become a little bit better. Another thing we could do is increase the gamma. So if we pump up the gamma, we're going to get a little bit darker background, and that's lower the saturation somewhat, about 80, 84, 85, give or take. So the colors won't be as strong, and you won't see as much of the background. There you go. There's 88. All right, that should do it. Just a minor tweaking here to combat this light pollution. So what we're going to do now is I'd like to look at the histogram. The colors are fairly matched. It's close enough anyways. I'm not going for perfection here. I'm just going for average. So we're going to just to lower the noise ratio a little bit, we're going to stack averaged 6 frame and see the result at 2.5 second exposure. The result's going to be exactly the same thing with a 6 or 8 inch, 8 or 10 inch telescope. Your result will be identical to this. Waiting here for the stacking sequence to acknowledge that the frames are taken. There you go. The noise is completely gone. All you see is stars and pure data here on the screen. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. One more thing I like to do is increase the gamma here. Get a little bit darker, and for that it's better to do it when you're not stacking. Let's re-engage the stacking. Lowering the saturation to lower the amount of color in there so you don't pick up the light pollution is the way to go. I don't have any filters here. And let's stack a few frames, a dozen of them, and on average just lower the noise, and bingo, here it is. That's nice. It's 2.5 seconds. Lower a little bit that gamma, hang on. Might be too, if you go too dark of a background, you're going to start to lose detail and sensitivity. And remember, this is live. And I've got the camera set to binning 2. It still gives me a huge frame. Let me stop the stacking. There we go. That ought to do it. Okay, let's try that. A little bit of experiment. Keep everything simple, goes a long way. Get that focus happening to stop into position. If we can get decent night, decent sky, that always helps. And tonight it seems I've got decent skies. Rare, but I'm away from the giant tiger lights at the moment. Opposite side, they still affect, and this is what the red you're picking up as well in the background. Because they're direct line up with this here, but on the opposite side. Okay, it's coming along pretty nice. Okay, 14, so everything is going on good. Stop it for a moment and start it again, because as soon as we do an adjustment elsewhere, you got to stop the stacking. There you go, the frame is locked on, and we're going to get some pretty nice images. Quite impressive for 2.5 seconds. Most back illuminated sensor works extremely well. Yeah, we're just stacking 6 at the moment, averaged. Now, average compared to additive. Additive, if I got 2.5, that means if you go additive stacking, you're actually increasing your exposure. So 6 times 2.5. But when you're average, you're not adding any exposure. All you do is you're layering frames on top of one another to have a random noise per frame to be evened out. And that's the only thing it does. It does not increase your exposure time whatsoever. Only additive will do that. So the idea is just to get rid of the noise. And the noise is this graininess. Similar to the old film days on the 35mm, if you go ISO 1600, that film was really grainy, but it was sensitive. So it's the same idea here. So by stacking, anywhere from 3 to 6 frame, you're going to even out all of that graininess. And as I said before, graininess comes from the type of sensors that are progressive scan. Whatever it's a CCD or CMOS, if it's progressive scan, it's going to be noisy that way. graininess will show up compared to an actual interlace. Interlace doesn't have that issue. It's just got different noise, got video noise more than anything else. Okay, this is pretty nice actually. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to go south towards Ogdensburg, New York, and lots of light pollution, and it's not far from the lights from Giant Tiger. And we're going to change object. I want to see if we can see maybe M17 or M8, I believe it is. We've never tried it that way, so I don't know if the optical tube's going to clear the edge of the dome. So that's one thing I need to go check out. I'll be right back, folks. We're going to change target. Oh, for 2.5 seconds, it's not bad at all. So this is going to be the rule tonight, 2.5 seconds. And allow me to stack about 4 frames. Should be enough to lower the noise. I'm about 10 degrees from the Giant Tiger flag lights that are ridiculous. And let's see if we can combat this. Tonight is pretty well low on humidity. I do have crisp, clear skies here tonight, which is fairly rare, I guess. But hey, I think we're doing okay. Look at the nebulosity extending to the lower 6 o'clock position. Yeah, Giant Tiger is actually here west, southwest, and the light goes all the way up to Vega and past. So when we're looking at M57, we're right on the tip. They're spotting about 2,500 feet in altitude. It's massive. You should see this right now. It's retarded. There's no need for that at all. Hopefully somebody from Giant Tiger is listening because they really need to do something. So here we're looking at M17 and it's 2.5 second exposure. Very clean image. Here, let me show you the proof. 2,500 milliseconds. We're still in video mode. I haven't changed anything. I left everything the way it is. So it seems that the magic solution that we're having here, or that is gain is at 84 and 2.5 seconds. It seems to be plenty for this specific camera. We've got some pretty good images. What I like about it is the nebulosity at 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 8, 9 o'clock position from the center of M17. We see some faint nebulosity there without filter. This is how well this thing works. It's really, really amazing. And with the 0.5 focal reducer on there on the VRC-12, we have pinpoint stars right across. I took the 10 millimeter spacer because earlier on last Sunday night, I believe it was, when I tried it under very bad conditions, I did spot a little bit of coma. So I decided tonight to take it off. I added a spacer at the focuser, so I'll be able to reach the proper focus on the Ritchie design, and I've got a perfect match. If we look at the upper right corner, there's a star right in the corner, very faint, but it's there, nice and white, and it's perfectly pinpoint right across. That's the beauty of Ritchie. It's corrected from one end to the other. So we have achieved an absolute optical perfection using the 0.5 focal reducer on the VRC-12, or an RC for that matter, or even a split array will give you the same result. The chip's big enough for us to see a lot of detail in the object, and it makes it quite interesting, I must say. Yeah, Jim, you're absolutely right. The swan is shedding feathers. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to swing to another target in that same area. While we're see stars, I'll take advantage of it. And we got really good sky conditions tonight, so except for the giant tiger lights. We're going to go for M16. And I have to admit, the mount is working perfect. Oops, I forgot to take off the stacking. There you go. All right, my mistake. Ooh, light pollution. Ogdensburg, New York, here we come. We're looking right into it. You can't see any stars in there now, but the naked eye, but the camera seems to pick it up fairly well. And that is very nice. This is 2.5-second exposure. Kind of wish I would have taken dark frames, dark field frames, but I didn't. So let's re-engage the stacking of 4 frame only average to lower the noise, and then we'll be able to see the object a little bit better with less graininess. Great. We're still at 2.5-second exposure. Well, I can honestly say for once, my equipment's working right tonight. So we better put this one on the calendar, guys and girls. Wow, this is nice. Very, very nice. This is impressive. Okay, what I'm going to do is, because of that, wow, okay, that I like. Let's put a little bit of sharpness. Okay, and see if we can increase further, because we increase the sharpness, we're going to bring up to 6 stock frame and average to lower the noise, because when you increase the sharpness, you're also increasing the sharpness of the graininess, so it looks like a lot more noise. So just wait a few seconds here. We're going to stack 6 frame instead of 4, because we've got the sharpness pretty aggressively adjusted. Updated Mallin Universe 2 somewhere here, or I think it's on the other side near the dome. Either way, I was planning to try that tonight, but honestly, I'm having so much fun with this here. Holy Moses, this is nice, guys. All right. This is impressive. There's no filters on here. And here's the best part. For those who don't believe it, from cloudy nights, 2.5-second exposure. And the gain is set at 84. I haven't touched it. I haven't touched anything. Once it's there, don't touch it. It works, leave well enough alone. And what we're going to do right now is, wow, let's get closer a little bit. That is nice. For 2.5 seconds, I think it's damn nice. Oh, Jack, that OTA is also sick. I'm telling you, it's insane as much as what the camera is. Absolutely adore that one. This is one of the VRC-12 that I couldn't sell to anybody because when it arrived by plane at the airport, when they unloaded from the FedEx airplane through wood pallets, the forklift drove through the box and put a big dent in the optical tube. This is a solid tube, by the way. This is not a truss tube. This is solid metal tube. Of course, nobody's going to buy a dented scope, and I had decided to keep it. That was years ago. And it's still brand in a box. And this young gentleman at the video store party here last week, he wanted to buy my 8-inch so badly. I just couldn't help it but help, just help the kid and for him to have a good optical tube. So we took it off on Sunday. And I said to myself, I should go back with a 6-inch or put that 12-inch that's been sitting there forever. And I don't care if there's a dent in it. For me, it doesn't bother me at all. So we decided to go with the 12, and we had to change configuration of the mount. Ivan was here, and Jim Thompson was here as well, just before he left. And I tell you, we put that on. Wow, I don't want to take it off anymore. Yeah, the high conversion is on high. Always use those cameras on high. If you're going to do planetary or lunar, then you go on low conversion. But if you're going to go for a D-size stuff, high conversion is the way to go. You need to get all the sensitivity you can. Wow, folks, I can't believe the view we're getting here. This is 150% zoomed in. This is absolutely amazing. Unbelievable. Wow. No filters, no nothing. Stars are nice and round. 2.5 second exposure. There you go. That's my mount saying, okay, we're going to do a meridian swing. I hate those. Anyways, we're not going to get into this. The mount's working really good tonight because I did a proper 2-star alignment. I'll be right back, folks. I need to flip the mount before it strips, rips, and all kinds of funky things. And we're going to stop the stacking. All right, just give me a moment. We're going to flip to another target.